So this is a group I like very much. We're here to discuss agriculture, very important. These are great people, great Americans, great patriots. And they've been treated very badly for a long time. And if you look at the farmer, it's been unfortunately over a 12-year period trending downward, very much trending downward. So we're changing things with respect to trade and trade with other countries. A lot of times the farmers they know what they have, but it'll be very good when we get it all finished. It'll be great. You know, people are a little bit concerned going into that wild blue yonder, or in our case, the wild red yonder. But I will say that the farmers are going to be, they're going to do fantastically well. But they have been trending downward for a long period of time, and we're not going to have that. A lot of it's because of bad trade deals. So I'm pleased to be joined by several of our nation's governors, very distinguished governors, and members of Congress to talk about trade and agriculture. As you know, the recent investigation led by U.S. Trade Representative Bob Lighthizer, who's with us today also, identified a pattern of chronic Chinese trading abuses, including theft of intellectual property and trade secrets and forced technology transfers, which has cost this country hundreds of billions of dollars, and also the targeting of American technology. It's cost us untold hundreds of billions of dollars over the years. Larry Kudlow's here, and he's shaking his head approvingly, meaning of what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
But disapprovingly of what they've done.
Yes, sir.
As you are all aware, China has consistently treated the United States agriculture unfairly. I was very proud of something I did at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. I had President Xi, who's a friend of mine, who's a very, very good man. And I don't blame China. I blame our representatives, that our people over the past, our presidents and negotiators and trade representatives, that they allowed this to happen. But during a very brief conversation, I said, President, the United States, we want to sell beef again to China. Now, they hadn't sold it in, 14 years or something. And he looked at me and he said, say it again. I said, we want to sell beef. That's a big industry in China. And he said, we will sell beef in China. And we did other things too. But the one that really is the most interesting for the people at this table is beef. And I think, Governor, that made a big impact, and they're selling a lot of beef in China. That hadn't been for 14, 15 years. They were not allowed to sell beef in China. So we have the kind of a relationship that I think is going to be very aggressively sustained. Yesterday, as you know, President Xi made a very good speech, and he said he's going to open up China. He's going to open it up, take down a lot of the trade barriers, maybe all of them, but take down a lot of trade barriers. And he's going to get rid of a lot of the taxes or tariffs that they charge. Because right now, if you have, and I use this example because it's so easy, if we sell a car into China, number one, they won't take the car. And number two, if they did take the car, it's 25% tariff. Whereas we have no barrier, and when they sell a car into us, it's 2.5%. So they have barriers, but when they don't have barriers, it's 25% versus 2.5%. That's not a good way to make money. Chuck will tell you that. So we're straightening that out. We want to be reciprocal. So if they charge 25, we charge 25. If they charge 2.5, we charge 2.5. And maybe what happens is we both charge nothing, because I know we'd all like that. I think Ben would like that better than anybody. Okay, that's simpler than 25. Let's save all the transfer of funds, right? So that's what we want. We want more trade. We want no barriers. But the only way you can knock it down, you can't just go in. For 25 years, presidents have been trying to negotiate, and they've been very unsuccessful, because they'd meet and they'd say, can we talk? And the Chinese would say, yes, we can. And that's what they'd do. They'd talk for 4 years. Then they'd talk for another 4 years. And that would be the end of that. Nothing would happen. So nothing would happen. So we're doing a job there. NAFTA, we're renegotiating NAFTA. It's coming along great. I have no time. You know, I keep reading from the fake news media that we're pushing it. I'm not pushing it. I don't care. But you're laughing. That's good, John. Well, see, Fox can smile because, you know, you do a very beautiful job. But I keep hearing how we're pushing NAFTA, we want it done. There's no timeline. There's no timeline. Now, in the meantime, nobody's moving into Mexico, because as long as NAFTA is in flux, no company is going to spend $1 billion to build an automobile plant. So I say this, I told it to the Mexicans, we can negotiate forever, because as long as we have this negotiation going, nobody's going to build billion-dollar plants in Mexico, which is what they've been doing a lot. They have taken our auto industry by the throat. And so many jobs have been lost, so many massive plants have been built in Mexico. Top-of-the-line stuff. But that's not happening now, and they're coming back. Chrysler's moved back, a lot of them have moved back. And same thing with agriculture, which is going to be our predominant discussion today. So agriculture is okay with NAFTA, not great. We're going to make it great. We're going to make it great. And we're getting pretty close to a deal. It could be 3 or 4 weeks. It could be 2 months. It could be 5 months. I don't care. So, you know, the narrative of I'm pushing for a deal, I never push for a deal. I don't care. In fact, if everybody in this room closed their ears, I'd say I'd rather terminate NAFTA and make a brand new deal, but I'm not going to do that because I want everyone to be happy in this room, okay? We'll see how it goes. But we're going to make a fair NAFTA deal, much better than it is right now. NAFTA has cost this country hundreds of billions of dollars. It has been a disaster. We've lost 50,000 factories, millions of jobs. NAFTA has been a disaster. So we're going to either come up with a great NAFTA deal and a fair one for this country, or we're going to just do something else, and agriculture will be taken care of 100%. So we're going to have a discussion today, and we're going to talk about agriculture as it relates to trade primarily. Again, we're doing really well with China. I think we're having some great discussions. We'll see what happens. We put a $50 billion tariff on, then we put a $100 billion tariff on. And you know, at a certain point, they run out of bullets. Remember what I said. When you're 500 billion down, you can't lose a trade war. And I won't call it a trade war, because it's really a trade negotiation. But nobody ever negotiated from our side. Nobody ever did anything. All they did is talk. And in the meantime, we helped rebuild China because they took so much money, bridges and airports and military and everything. They took so much, hundreds of billions of dollars out of our country. So now we're really negotiating. And I think they're going to treat us very fairly. I think they want to. And again, I don't blame my friend, President Xi. I blame our representatives for years that didn't do a damn thing, and they allowed it to happen. I wish we could do what they did, because that would make everybody in this table very happy. So perhaps we're in the process of doing it. The other thing is, if you look at the European Union, we're talking to them. I don't know if you realize it, but they have virtual barriers against even agriculture from going in. So they sell us their Mercedes-Benzes, and they sell us their BMWs, and they sell all the different things, and we have no barriers whatsoever. Hello, Pete. Good job.